connect, solve painful problems, raise amazing adults, and have healthy families. Welcome to the Sean Donahue Show. Jordan and I do this podcast because we want your family to be close and connected. And we want you to feel empowered and equipped in your most important job, the most important job in the world. Let's go deeper than this podcast. Head to my website, parentingmodernteens.com, and get my email straight to your inbox. And when you're ready to go deep and get serious coaching from me, join me in my VIP membership. Parents are teachers and every home is a school. So teach well, love well. All right, let's have some fun together. Hello, parents. The holidays are here. Oh, the smells, the presents, the family, the music, the aroma of just coming together to be thankful and to bring family together to celebrate things that we have. I can understand why for many people, this is their favorite time of the year, Jordan.
Dude, I love the holidays. As soon as the radio station switches over to Christmas music, I'm on there the entire season.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It brings joy to my life, and that's all that matters. Yeah. I'm the kind of guy who will get in an argument about why I think the Christmas tree should go up before Thanksgiving.
Oh, you are? You are before? Oh, right? My gosh.
Like, let's skip right to it, bro. Like, if I could decorate my house with, like, these orange Halloween lights that then just change to the Christmas color, I'd be all for it.
You know, that's becoming more cultural normal because before there was that strict kind of cultural rule, no Christmas stuff until after Thanksgiving. Now there's a lot of people like, I don't care what you say. I'm going 2 Christmas trees. I'm getting started early. And I can see why, because it just brings out so much positivity, and not everybody, but in so many of us, it's just a great time of year.
It's a great time of year. You got feel-good movies out there like Buddy the Elf. Hey, it's Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? These toilets are ginormous. Like, it just makes you feel good. Like, the idea of, like, family getting together. Think Home Alone. The family's gone, and they try to get together, and they get together on Christmas Day, right? You've got Thanksgiving night. You're having a big meal. You're just with everyone you love, and it can be fun. And, yes, I know it brings up some painful memories for some, but in that perfect world, which I think a lot of us think of the holidays as that perfect world, it's glorious.
I think that's really a big part of why we're making this episode is what you just said, is that perfect world. That what happens in our minds? Because, do you know who sings this song? It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happy. Do you know who sings that song?
No, I just love that song.
Andy Williams sings that song. And for many people, that's true. And if that's you, I'm really happy for you. But there's many of us, and I'm going to share some stats on this, that it is not the happiest time of year. It's like it just brings up fear, brings up emotions. Maybe you're in a tough co-parenting situation. Maybe it reminds you of the loss of somebody you've had in your life. I don't know if you are aware of this, but like it brings up a lot of challenges for people. I really wasn't as aware until I started researching for this episode.
Yeah. And those challenges could probably be financial challenges. When you say you lost a loved one, I know it can be hard for someone who has lost a loved one, and you see all your family together, and then you realize that loved one's not there, which makes it that much more difficult. Or you're in a broken family and you can't be there this year with your kids because, they're going with this, the other family member for that holiday. But I try leading up to it to paint this great picture.
Okay.
And every year the reality comes where I get so frustrated, which we'll get to, but it's like we all want it to be perfect.
We do. I know I do. We first shoot it, and I don't know why. I wonder it's because either A, we had these awesome childhood memories as kids, and now we want to pass that on to our kids, or maybe we didn't have positive childhood Christmas memories, holiday memories, and now we want to create something new. I don't know. Everyone's got a reason, but I know this is that for many of us, it is a very, very stressful time of year. Now, here's what I just thought of. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Amazon and Target, and probably Walmart too, they send out these big catalogs to like so many homes around the world. Have you ever got one of these holiday gift catalogs?
Well, I mean, I've never seen Amazon's, but like Tractor Supply, I'm probably on their list. Or because I'll shop there sometimes. Yeah. Walmart, I do. I usually just toss them though. I don't let the kids look at them.
Pretty.
That's a recipe for disaster.
I realize now that this is looking back. I've never talked about this with one of my kids, but when my kids are older, they're going to be talking about how much joy these catalogs brought them. Because I realized, without even realizing it until now, my family has a tradition where we hand these kids these catalogs, and we let them circle the toys that they want, and they will go through and they'll circle like, potentially 50 to 100 toys. And then of course we have to go back and we have to tell them, okay, now you got to really narrow it down. But this has got to be really fun for even a kid just to use their imagination, to do this. And then now Amazon has these, for teenagers. Now my older teens, I got 2 teenagers, they've graduated from those catalogs, and now they have this Amazon wish list, and that's got to be a fun thing. Now just put your, this is like a thing. Like, you don't use those Amazon wish lists? I do it throughout the year, man. I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna heart this, and this is part of the fun, just imagining these gifts and what we're gonna get. But what do you think about that?
I just think that it's that could maybe be one of the reasons why it's so hard on so many people, because there's this expectation that I'm going to get these gifts, or if I don't get these gifts and my friend gets one, now there's a jealousy there. And then from the parents' perspective, it's like, well, now I have to because they really want it, even though it's the $1,000 PlayStation 6 that just came out, or the iPhone 500. And it can just be really hard. Yeah. And some of the stuff they circle, let's be honest, I mean, they don't even play with them longer than a day, so it's like, I just posted something on Instagram the other day where they were, with the box that the toy came into. They were playing with the box for like 6 hours. Oh, I can just get you a box? What am I doing here?
Does that stress you out, the idea of you buying a present for your kids and then not using it or not playing it?
No, it doesn't stress me out. It just makes me frustrated. It for me, it's like we've got a problem with stuff, and we have storage stuff, and it's like we don't need any more stuff. Yes. So if you really want it, I'm trying to go back. I'm trying to get my family to go back to just like one gift.
Oh yeah.
Per person.
Yeah.
The one gift you're going to use, I'm okay with that. A
lot of families are moving towards that, and that's really wise. Let me give you a quiz, okay? I'm going to quiz you. Here's a stat. There's a few handful of reasons that the holidays really stress people out. And if it doesn't stress you out, then listen to this episode so you can learn more about your fellow man and your fellow family member. Okay, the American Psychology Association found that more people in the United States find their stresses increases rather than decreases during the holiday season for a variety of reasons. What were their reasons, Jordan, of what brings up stress? What do you think there are?
Money.
Number one, ding, ding, ding. Good answer, good answer. Number one reason is lack of money for gifts. Stress us adults out. What else?
What about like family, like getting together family with you don't really want to get together with?
I was surprised like that did not make their top list, but we are going to be chatting about that in this episode because
okay.
That is for many.
What about I would say work. Like some people are shift workers and they don't get Christmas off, so that could be stressful.
Didn't make the top list, but that's a good point. Yep.
So what's next on the list?
Okay, well, next up, lack of time to shop and cook.
Really? That's on the list.
Yeah, well, you're not a maybe. I mean, yeah. Do you
lack of time?
You're a working parent, so you don't normally do a lot of the cooking and the shopping in your home, do you?
Yeah, I cook every night.
Okay, my bad.
I do.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay. Well, but what I'm saying is, I didn't realize that would be on the top of the list, but it makes sense. Some people are working 2 jobs, and so they don't have time to go out and shop. And then, of course, if they can't figure out the time to shop, then there's going to be no Christmas presents under the tree because the fat man maybe isn't coming to town.
Right. Also, I mean, if you think about it, what makes the holidays really, really special? Like, is it just sitting around playing patty cake, or is it really just being around with your family, enjoying a nice meal, talking, maybe opening up some presents? So that's what's
creating the stress.
That's what's creating, because people want this. I remember it was I think it was about a year ago today. My wife just made this incredible Thanksgiving spread for our family, and it was so tasty. And she was exhausted. She spent the whole day cooking. And then after we ate, the meal lasts 30 minutes, 45 minutes, because we're eating all day already. And she's just exhausted. And she's like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this next year. Like that for her, that just wasn't the way she wants to be grateful on Thanksgiving, just cooking and thinking. All right. Any other guesses of what?
Well, so now that you're talking about cooking, I'm thinking of like how awful we feel after we eat these big meals. And then, of course, you go into the New Year's and your New Year's resolution is to lose 15 pounds.
Oh, my gosh. Well, hey, you just hit one. You hit one. What stresses people out? The stress of staying on a diet or the food intake. And then the other one that's listed here on this list is the overwhelming, I know you'll have something to say about that. The overwhelming commercialism and the hype of the holiday.
Well, think about old school Black Friday. Remember when you'd have to go there at midnight after Thanksgiving, wait in line for hours in the cold. They opened the door at 4 a.m. and then it was 3:30 a.m. and then it was 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And then you'd rush in and someone always gets trampled and heads to the hospital.
Yeah.
The fights, like that is mad chaos. But what is the term? It's Black Friday. They're trying, these stores are trying to get back into the black because all year they've been in the red.
Yep.
And so they're banking on us to go crazy to consume to get back into the black.
One survey said that 1/3 of Americans wish that Black Friday would go away. Yeah, because it just even if you think about it too, it's just the holiday season. It's for different traditions, different spiritual, religious backgrounds. They're primarily built around gratitude or spirituality or gratefulness.
Right. We're
losing. Here we
that.
are. The first day after Thanksgiving has now become a shopping day, commercial consumerism. And this is why it's very empowering for me to even say this, because, our kids are going to be our kids by nature or nurture. So we can't control many past aspects of their lives, so who they become, how they think. We cannot control your child, but you can't control yourself. But we can control the nurturing environment in the house. So if we want to create Black Friday to be about consumerism and buying things, we can do that. But if we want to create the first day of the holiday as some other day, we can do that. If we also want to make Black Friday just a great family day where you go out shopping and enjoying your family, that's cool too, right?
Yeah.
Like we get to create the families we want because parents are so powerful.
And that's great. And we, my family personally, we never really got into the Black Friday craze. I remember one time when I was a kid, I had a successful uncle. And I asked him when I was a kid, I said, hey, what does it take to be successful? And he was kind of well off. He owned his business. He had several employees. And he says, number one, always do your best to save money, right? Mm-hmm. Every paycheck, do something where you're paying yourself. And number two, don't jump into the craze that you're seeing on TV, that you're hearing from society, these deals. Because I was talking in that moment about this deal on Black Friday. He's like, you cannot be jumping into that because then you are now becoming a pawn in their game. You got to take control of your own world.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because it makes us think we're getting a deal. It's on sale, but check it out.
Right.
There's a survey from this company called Sesame, and they found on their website that 2 in 5 Americans feel their mental health worsens during the holidays. And their study the year before that said 3 in 5 Americans, their mental health goes down. So what is going on? Andy Williams says this is the most harmful time of the year. And
terrible.
But the research is like about half of Americans are saying, this actually is bringing out the worst in me. This is stressing me. And then if mental health is going downwards, well, then what's going up? Is alcohol going up? Is screen going up? Is verbal abuse going up? Is screen abuse going up? Is food abuse going up? Is fighting in a marriage or in a home going up? Like it's this. This is why we're making this episode. We
got a problem, and we kind of saw a problem like this during COVID when everything was shut down, where all these stories were coming out, where families were getting mad at each other. I wonder, are we spending too much time together? And so we're all like in a close space in this tiny house because we don't want to get a hotel, and we're all getting crazy.
Right. I got just one more stat for us. Then we'll talk about something else. All right. So a website called verywellmind.com. Tell me your thoughts on this. Found that 1 in 5 parents believe that their child has unrealistic expectations for the holidays, while 1 in 4 admit that they set highly unrealistic expectations of themselves during the season. All right. You want me to repeat that? What do you think about that?
Yeah. 1 in 5. Go ahead.
1 in 5 parents believe their child has unrealistic expectations for the holidays.
Okay.
Well, they admit 1 in 4 parents have highly unrealistic expectations of themselves during this season. What are your thoughts on
I
that?
don't know what that means from a parent's perspective, but I can't blame kids for having this expectation. You know, we watch these holiday movies and we expect things. We hear our friends at school talk about what they're going to be doing, so we expect maybe a big ski trip. But I mean, that's just that's in the kids' world. You know, it's just around them, so they expect that because they think it's the norm.
Yeah, what is the norm though? Right?
What is the norm exactly?
Right. That's why this is just like, I think this, I'm just saying it again. I just said it. Maybe this is why we're making this episode. It's like these kids get these, these little catalogs from Amazon, Target, and Walmart. And it's like this holiday gift guide. This is going to be kind of like some sort of holiday survival guide to just help us be mindful and wise about how we want to lead our families during this holiday season. Because here's another negative stat. All right. 1 in 5 parents note that their stress levels are negatively impacting their child's enjoyment of the holidays.
Yeah. Well, I was probably there at one point. Sorry about that. I get so mad sometimes on Christmas morning when they just want everything.
They do. Let's each tell one story about that, because I want to tell me a story. You want me to go first?
It's just, and this goes into more of the psychological idea of parenting and co-parenting children, which we'll get into. It's like, I don't think my wife had, a robust Christmas holiday, so she didn't get a ton of presents. So she wants to shower her kids with gifts. Yeah. That's one of her love languages, right?
Yeah.
And to me, I look at that, and then they turn into these little greedy gremlins. And I'm like, what's next? What else? Oh, this is what you got me. What else did you get me? What else? What? And I just get frustrated.
Right. That's
like
the co-parenting. Crazy. Even in a marriage, in a healthy marriage like yours, it can bring up emotions and fears. And that would make sense that your wife, Danny, would want to shower her kids with presents. Did she have any siblings growing up? Or was she an only child?
She basically, she had a couple half brothers, but she never spent the holidays with them.
Yeah, so she wasn't around this big family. Like my wife too. My wife's an only child, so she doesn't need any reasons to want to bless our kids with a bunch of presents around Christmas time. This is what she wants to do. But if somebody who's more financially conscious or restricted, it was very scary. It's stressing me out. It's like
and it's hard to see that. And when I look at like a family on Thanksgiving, and they're donating their time at the shelter, feeding others, I'm like, that's a cool experience, because then that awakens the kids' eyes as to like, hey, we don't always get to have a big, huge turkey and family. Not everybody gets that.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. It's like, and I think even what I said twice in this episode already might have even added more stress to some parents. So when I say like, hey, we get to set the tone for the culture of our homes around the holidays, you could take that, and I think somebody could be pretty empowered by that. But could you also see how that sentence can actually really stress some parent out? Can you see?
Well, why? Because they don't feel like they can?
That's one reason. Yeah,
or they're stressed that they, have to do that and they don't want to.
Yeah. Or maybe they're like, I just did a bad job of it. Or maybe like,
I tried, it doesn't work.
I tried. My co-parent is sabotaging this, or is this so common? I mean, the holidays brings up so much pain for parents of divorce and who they can't be with their kids, or their other parent is like, letting them abuse screens during the holiday, or their other parent is just like over showering them with gifts, or they just want to go with this one parent because maybe they have more money, or they have bigger family, or it's just like it's more fun over there. And they're like, what about me? What about me? I want to be seen. I want to be with you. Right. It's just very painful for some parents.
And I don't even know how to address that, because it's hard in divorce situations where you have to share custody, and you get them Thanksgiving, I get him Christmas. Okay, well, the rule right now is he's off tech. He was bad at school. And then the other parent's like, well, nope, I got you a new iPhone for Christmas. Right. That's got to be really hard to try and figure that out and define that balance.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I enjoyed that episode that we recorded with your dad, because your dad gave us a lot of wisdom about co-parenting and divorce. So if you are in that situation, make sure you go back and listen to that episode. It was called Divorce and Co-Parenting with Jordan's Dad. That's what I called it.
So eye-opening, especially from my perspective. It was good.
But hey, man, we're here to educate, to equip, to inspire. And so Jordan and I have got 5 tips for you and action steps. And I think about this, these are like gifts I want you to give yourself. I want you to do these 5 things for yourself. And the first one has to do with you. It doesn't have to do with your stinking kids. It has to do with you. It doesn't have to do with how you talk to your kids. It has to do with how you talk to yourself. So Jordan, let's talk about how we as parents can, number one, prep ourselves and our children for the holidays. What it means, what it's about, what it's not about, why we do it. What is this family about here? Parents are teachers and every home's a school. And so whether you do this in family meetings or you do this through one-on-ones or you do this just a few chit chats, over the dinner table, I think it's really important that we prepare and teach our kids about what the holidays are and what they aren't.
And I can give you firsthand experience that this already works. I mean, our family have been working really hard for the last year plus to try to go on a family trip, right? A big family trip. And we have one coming up. And anytime we go on a family trip, I'm very conscious. I want to make sure that we're doing things that are purposeful, that are going to create memories, and that's fun, and that's not going to completely break the bank and have us in debt for 2 years down the road. But there was a moment where we were getting the kids ready for what to do. What would they like to do on this trip?
Okay.
And this is going to be a big Thanksgiving trip. Do we want to celebrate Thanksgiving here? Do we want to have that meal? And there was a moment where my wife looked at me and says, "Hey, this is a very important trip for me, for this family. And so I want the expectations to be this." And I heard that and I'm like, wow, I'm so glad you told me, because I wouldn't have thought about that when I was in the trip.
Yeah.
And it could have caused a fight. It could have caused a problem during that trip.
Yeah, just
we don't want that.
Preventative communication, right? Really, really good.
Right.
And here's another practical story that's not as dramatic as a big trip, but we have a tradition where we go to a Christmas tree lots up in this cool area near our house, and we go Christmas tree shopping. And we, been chopping down our own tree. I don't think we're not gonna do that this year because of last year. But here's what happened last year. My wife Danielle is very artistic and she's very into beautiful things. And we Christmas tree shopped, I think, for over 3 hours last year, maybe 4, for the perfect tree. Yeah, we went to about 5 lots, and that was with 2 teenagers, a 75-year-old. Her mom, as well as a 6-year-old child. And there was so much communication going on that day. And here's what the communication kind of sounded like. Hey guys, this is a family day, but this is special for mom. She really wants to find that special tree. So let's just all be patient with her. Let's enjoy this. Let's have some hot chocolate. Let's talk. Kenzie was 6. I put her on my shoulders quite a bit. So I was just sweating at times,
Right.
And it was a big Donahue win because the kids didn't complain, and we just had patience. But it was a lot of it because we prepared them. Like, this is what this day is about. It's not just about you. It's not about you. It's not just about Danielle. It's not about me. But we are up here doing this adventure, and we rocked it. Now we're not doing that this year, though. We got a big tree now.
Dude, I can't believe you went to. I would have lost it after the first job. I'm like, no, we're finding it here. I'm not going another. That's amazing that you did that.
Well,
good job.
Good job to the kids, because I think this is what expectations does. Expectation is like a little lying voice in our head. It's a little devilish cartoon that says this is the way it needs to be. I know what's best. I know what's best for everybody, and the expectations are the opposite of vulnerability. They're the opposite of teamwork, and they can really sabotage a beautiful thing, man. Like, you take any beautiful thing, a vacation, a holiday, a gift, and a marriage, a child's behavior. And if you fill your mind with an expectation that's all janky, or you go up in some fantasy world of creating a Hallmark movie in your mind, or some fantasy, movie in your mind, and then the reality is not going to play out that way. And you just did that not only yourself, but you just are going to create an issue for your family. Did I get too dramatic on that, or does that kind of?
No, you're absolutely right. I'm just so impressed by your kids. That's a lot to handle, and I always get impressed too by people who do this. But the fact that you're sharing this, and then other people, it works. That this expectation, this conversation, it really allows the kids to come into your thought process, because a lot of the times they don't even know. Like now, let's just say we're going on a road trip. My kids will want to ask how long it is, and sometimes I don't want to tell them because I know how long it can be.
Buddy.
But when I share it, I'm like, I know this is not going to be fun, but we're going to, do this, and time's going to go by fast. And then it at least gives them perspective, so they're not just absolutely miserable.
Here's holiday tip number 2. It's actually kind of ironic because I did the opposite of what I'm about to say. Ready? Number 2, create and keep traditions.
Oh, you're breaking that. That's hilarious.
Well, let me I have a good reason why. I'll tell you in a second. I'll tell you another reason why. But isn't this, especially if you're a young parent, was it you? Okay, go back to, well, you are a young parent. Your youngest was 4. I guess, I don't know if I'm definitely not a young parent anymore, with an oldest child being, almost 19. But when you were a young parent, right, and your kids were, 5 and under for the first time because you got twins, was it you setting the tone for the traditions in your home, or was it your wife, or was it both of you?
That's so funny. I think it was my wife, but there were traditions that I liked and that I would want to do also.
Okay.
But now that I'm reflecting, there has been nothing that has stood the test of time. It's like, well, this is a tradition. It's like, well, it was for a couple of years and then we went away and now we're going to go back to it, or this is a new tradition that we're starting this year. And it's like, maybe we're doing it one time and we're calling it a tradition. Okay. It's something that we do on the holidays.
Nothing that lasted the test of time from anything. Then let me tell you, one of my favorite memories of growing up is that my grandmother made these really beautiful, colorful stockings. And all of us kids had these, they're just gorgeous stockings, right? They're clearly from the 80s. I wish I could show you right now. I love my stockings, my sister's stockings, my parents' stockings. And so here we are. I want to have beautiful, colorful stockings for my kids. And guess what my wife said? Guess what this Instagram influencer said? And she says, no, we're not doing colorful stockings. I said,
why?
Whoa. And so because our Christmas tree and our stockings are all color-based themed, right?
Yeah.
And so we change them out every 2 years, 3 years.
Oh.
So they're very artistic. They're Pottery Barn or whatever, boho or whatever. You know what I mean? So, right. Dude, the one thing I really cherish, these beautiful, colorful Christmas trees with a gazillion different colored, what are they, ornaments on there? We got none of that, man. We have a beautiful tree though, but it's beautiful.
Are you okay with that? Are you bummed? Some traditions you let go. It's hard.
No, I'm not bummed. I think I was bummed for the first few years because it was but then I realized this is marriage, right? It's compromise, it's working together. And in some battles, you can't win, man. When you have an artist wife like myself, you can't win some battles.
Right.
I'm not gonna get divorced.
I have to confess something with everybody right now. I'm starting a tradition, which is probably not the healthiest. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. Last year, I was like, I think I'm going to make it a tradition, just on a whim.
I can't wait to hear what you're about to say.
Those lottery scratch-offs.
Oh yeah,
and let the kids scratch off.
Those are heck of fun.
They're heck of fun, like the Monopoly ones, or whatever, and then they can see if they win.
Yeah,
but I did that one time, and now every time we're at the store, my son's like, "Hey, Dad, can we get one of those scratches?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm creating a gambler in the making."
You might have, dude. You might have. Have you ever gotten them those prank? This could be a good year. Maybe when they're a little older. Maybe when they're old. Maybe when they're
older.
13.
I'm gonna wait till they're older.
Yeah. I used to prank people those fake lotteries where you win. You can get them online where they scratch and they win 20 grand.
So terrible.
And then you see them freak out, and then it says on the back, "You've been pranked." Oh,
yeah. I think you did that to me. I'm remembering flashbacks of that when I was a kid now.
Dude, I did a lot of I took my prank life was so over the top, inappropriate. I did some things. I got in trouble. All right, let's, yeah. So any other things I think that y'all traditions that carry on? I think for us, we it might sound, not much to you guys, but one of our favorite traditions is we go to my in-laws' house just on Christmas Eve. And there's just them two. And they just really make a really nice meal. They decorate the whole house, and they're just really good gift givers. So, they're just generous and they bless the kids. and they have this little horse that is a rocking horse, and they have a little puppet set, and they gave it to our oldest daughter when she was like 3 or 4, and then it's just passed down to the next kid and the next kid. And I think when I think about holiday memories, that's something that I think about, that puppet set, because it like lasts.
That's cool.
It lasts, it's lasting for 10, 20 years. And I think the people who are listening to this, if you think about like when you think of Christmas, what do you think of? I think some people are thinking about these toys, those trains you bring out every year, or those same platters of food, or that same dish, right? You got anything that comes to mind for you?
We just make sure we do dinner together. We make sure that we take a photo in front of the tree. That's a must, right? We want to make sure we have that.
Yeah.
And then we'll just add stuff depending on where we are, because we hop around a lot. If we're in a snowy climate,
you travel.
Ski resort's open.
So yeah.
I'll take the kids skiing on Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome.
If it's opening day.
Well, that sounds like a tradition.
I like hunting on Christmas Day if I'm allowed.
Yeah.
It's usually really rare that happens.
Yeah, man.
But that's not really a tradition. That's just, I try to, take the kids sledding, or, go on a walk.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff's closed down. My wife and her mom, when she was alive, they used to go to a movie every Christmas. They would go see a matinee or a film.
Yeah.
And I like that idea too with the kids.
Sweet.
I think that's fun.
My sister, my sister lives in Texas, one of my sisters, and she watches the movie Elf on Christmas Day every year. And her oldest is 18. So they've watched Elf probably since it came out. Let me ask you a question, okay? This is a deep question. Let me tell you a stat first, a dark stat, and then ask you a positive question. You ready? Now, I found some stats from holiday season 2021. All right, this is only 2 years ago. And listen to these stats, all right? It's kind of darker. When it comes to what's on America's agenda for seasonal activities and travel, COVID-19 remains a factor. 7 in 10 respondents said that they will see less family and less friends than they normally do. All right, makes sense, right? So 70% of people during COVID Christmas said we're not going to gather. We're not going to see people. It's not going to be the same. And almost 30% of respondents will travel out of town to see family and friends, with the remainder not feeling comfortable of doing that yet. So now let's put this in our kids' shoes, and put our minds in our kids' shoes, if that makes sense. That means our kids, whether they were children like ages 5, 6, or 7, prime time, early memory stage, or they were tweens, those are probably my most memorable Christmases when I was a tween, or you're a teenager, going through life. Our kids had, I'll use a strong word. I'll use the word robbed. It's a strong word. I don't mean to offend anybody with that word, but for some of our kids, they had these years kind of robbed from them, right? It wasn't like a typical experience. You with me? Because of the COVID thing.
I am.
You right?
Yeah, especially if you couldn't be with family and you were with them. That was a tradition for you for years. Yeah.
So now I would think close to 100% of families, I have one friend who's still COVID sensitive. It's back to normal, right? We're back to normal. We're free. Do what we want. You with me? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So now here's the question. Who in your mind, and there's no right or wrong question, I'll pick 2 of my daughters. Which of my 2 daughters you think this is going to be a more important Christmas for them as far as lifelong memories? Ready? Daughter, my third daughter, who's 7 years old, right? So she's in 2nd grade, 7, right? Do you remember? You probably remember, which you could probably go back and even remember what you got your 2nd, 3rd grade year. That's prime time holiday season, like memories, right? Or my 18-year-old daughter who has moved out of the house and she's not with us as much. And now she's coming back to the family. And this is her first Christmas not living in the house. Now, of these 2 children, who do you think is going to be more memorable and more important holiday experience? What are your opinion?
Your answer wants to go to the kid, because holidays for the kid, the youngest, is so memorable. But they've had many of those. This is the first time your 18-year-old is away and coming back. So I would assume maybe it's going to be more memorable for your oldest.
I don't know the answer. We're just guessing.
I don't either.
Let's say that my house. Now let's throw in an X factor, okay? Let's say my house on Christmas Day, is going to be filled with a lot of negative relatives. They're going to be abusing alcohol, acting obnoxious. They're going to be fighting about Trump versus Biden. They're going to be arguing about, international wars and politics. And it's going to be negative. How do you think my 18-year-old is going to respond to that? Here she is, out of the house. And as she comes back looking to have a nice family experience, and that's what she experiences. People abusing alcohol, arguing, and bratty kids. I'm just trying to...
I mean, unfortunately, when we have these big events, you can kind of sum it up with one event, right? Let's say you're at Christmas for a week, and there was that one day you were sledding. Your sister launched off almost broke her wrist, but then she fell and was giggling, and it was the best day ever. You're like, man, that was a great holiday, right? But it was 2 weeks long, and that's the only thing you remember. So now your daughter's coming back, and let's say she's there for 4 or 5 days. She has a great time, and then there's this one family member that's causing all these problems. That's going to get imprinted into their mind and make you look back and say, that was a terrible Christmas, or that was a terrible Thanksgiving.
I remember one year, I think I was 20, maybe 21. My mom, she brought her new boyfriend to Christmas. And I've never talked about this ever. But I realize now I was not okay with this. I did not like this. I probably told her nicely, like, please don't do that again. I don't want no freaking weirdo named Ron freaking coming, sitting there in my mom's rocking chair with his legs crossed, drinking freaking tea on my Christmas. And I'm 20 years old. I want to freaking have a nice family with my sisters and my mom. I don't want no dummy there. But this is why I think and she never saw the guy after that ever. Like, I never saw the dude again, right? He broke up with that loser. I just hate this
Dude, that's
guy.
why family drama is going to probably, what I would think, behind the list of stressful moments for the holidays, even though it's not on the actual list you found. I think family dynamics cause a lot of problems. Could be a new girlfriend for the sibling, could be anything.
Where this is why tip number 3 is what Jordan and I wrote is I want us to have mindful conversations and mindful behaviors during the holiday seasons. And why do we write that, man?
Because maybe this is important for someone listening who you are that person. You're the one who is going to the family trip and usually are the one who drinks all too much. Maybe you're the one that's going to go visit family and you think, oh, I've been looking at my niece, the way she lives her lifestyle, and I'm going to try and correct her during this trip.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Right.
Hold your tongue and just enjoy the moment. Don't be the person that everyone's going to remember that you're the one who caused a bad holiday season. Yeah. Just enjoy my thought process is enjoy the time with each other and don't allow different backgrounds, different political beliefs come up in these situations because you're not going to convince anybody in that time anyway.
Yeah. You know what I just realized?
You're not.
You know what the greatest enemy of the holiday season is? It's selfishness.
Coal. Oh, what?
But that's what you get.
What?
That's what, if you're selfish, you get coal. Isn't it selfishness? Because we've been told by all these commercials and by all of our programming that the holiday season is about us. It's about consumerism. It's about making us feel good. Even being with family
what did you get?
Makes me feel good. Thinking about our wish list, Amazon with wish list. And like, it's so, that's the temptation of the holidays is making it about us. And if you do that, then that's bad.
So we got to figure out a way to transition that thought process. When you have the entire world telling you one thing, but the reality is something completely different. I mean, this world has gone away from what Christmas should be really about, right? Yeah. The history of Thanksgiving, what really went on during that time. Why do we eat turkey? Why are we getting the family together? Do you actually sit and be thankful for Thanksgiving? That's a tradition I forgot to bring up. We go around the table and say what we're thankful for right before Thanksgiving, and I love it.
We do a little Bible study on Christmas Day as a family and just talk about that and talk about
that's great.
What Christmas is about and why there's Christ in Christmas and
giving. And there's a lot of givers out there, and I applaud you.
Yeah, they are.
But like we have to teach that to our kids.
Yeah, man.
Maybe go to a coat drive and say, hey, there are kids out here who don't have coats. Let's give one of your coats away. You know what I mean? Like, you got to find a way to show everybody that it's not about just consuming.
Yeah, I think it's good that we're doing this because I think that, with children, more is caught than taught. But what's also true is that we are leaders and we set the tone, and we've got to speak up about and teach our kids these things. And I think a lot of parents, they don't think about it. And hopefully this podcast episode has brought a lot of mindfulness to you. And here's number 4. I'm very passionate about number 4. Tip for how to thrive and give gifts to yourself during the holiday season. Tip number 4 would be give less screens and more adventures. Yeah. This is somebody coming with 25 years experience of working with your sons and daughters. And I am begging you, everybody, please resist the temptation to give screens to your children or abuse screens. Or if your children does not have a healthy relationship with screen, well, then resist the temptation to give them more screens. Resist and go back and listen to my previous episodes about screens, or go to my website and look at my screen addiction book, or take my class on the Parent's Guide to How to Break Screen Addiction, or join my membership. Oh my gosh, my fellow parents, I love you. And I do not want to see you sabotage your family, sabotage your holidays by letting your kids abuse this horrible, horrible drug that is so tempting and is so destructive. Do not let screens ruin your holiday season.
Dude, I'm starting a new tradition after you just said that.
Okay.
No screens at all during the holiday, whether it's just the day, or let's say it's Thanksgiving, you get that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for that 4-day stretch. And instead, you say to your kids, I'm going to do this year. I'll let you know how it goes. We'll talk.
Please do. Yeah.
I'm going to say, bust out a puzzle, yo. I'll do a puzzle with you right now.
Puzzle.
You want to learn how to play chess? Let's freaking play chess. Get Battleship, man. Let's play some cards. I'll play War with you. Yeah. Old school, Go Fish.
Yes. Just be in the same room together, enjoying each other's company. A little Go Fish, little checkers, little life, watch some movies together, eat. Just be together. Here, and I tell you something. When I say this, my heart sinks. It's very sad. On Christmas Day, it's become very clear to me that I have a lot of people that buy things from my website on Christmas Day. And this is very sad. I'm not celebrating this. I have a lot of people that purchase my book, A Parent's Guide to Breaking Screen Addiction, or purchase my class, my Zoom class, pre-recorded on-demand class, A Parent's Guide to Breaking Screen Addiction, on Christmas Day. And I say it every year to my family now. It's like, this is so sad. Like, what is going on in these families' homes that here we are on Christmas Day, parents are buying this, right? And right? You with me? Like, what is happening in the house
at that moment that made them go and buy it on that day? I get it. That is hard, man.
That's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that they're sitting there on their phone buying a class because their kids are like, they have these healthy expectations. I guess, is that a word? Is that a term? Healthy beliefs about Christmas Day or the holiday day, whatever you celebrate. And they want to be together with their kids and their family, and their kids are not a part of the process. And they're just living in a fantasy world on a screen, and it's heartbreaking.
That's hard. And we've all been there. You just got to be mindful about it. And I'll let you know what my idea I just came up with. I'll let you know if it works. Yeah, I can tell you right now it's going to be fought. But I think if both parents can stick to their guns, it could be good in the long run.
All right. Well, here's our last tip. I think is maybe the best one. Here's an action step number 5. Give these gifts to yourself. During this holiday season, I implore you to say yes and to say no as much as you can. Say yes and to say no.
I like that.
Can I break it down?
Please.
What do we say yes to? Yes to family functions.
Playing.
Cutting down Christmas trees. Family dinners. Events with healthy cousins, aunts, uncles.
Ooh, what about staying up late?
Yeah, staying up late with your kids, having
Yeah.
fun.
I love it.
Maybe getting the neighbors together. We went to this. I'm pointing at the house right now. Our next door neighbor had an open house, and we went over there. We were there for 2 hours with other neighbors, and they provided probably $300 to $400 worth of food and drink, and they just open
wow.
house. We went there till we met our neighbors, and we hung out with them. We chatted. We made friends, and we shared stories, and they were and it was so great, right? We got to do that. I really want to do that here. Say yes
That fun.
to that. What else should they say yes to before we get to the no's? What else?
Oh, I was saying to staying up late, to getting dirty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go out and get dirty,
Sweating.
right? So let's say yes to that.
Say yes.
Can I go, ride my bike by myself? Sure, if you feel comfortable with that,
bike
I
for
think
Christmas.
giving them some freedom. I'm gonna probably say, I'm gonna give them a questionnaire like, hey, what do you guys really want to do this holiday season when you're off? And I know they're gonna say ice skating, and I know they're gonna say rollerblading, and I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say let's do it.
Say yes and make those investments, even though you might have to take a loan to take your kids ice skating nowadays.
Yeah, hopefully
or
not.
take them bowling. Or take them to a holiday movie. Oh my gosh, movies. But yeah, this is like the time to invest in memories. And here's some good things to say no to, right? Say no is by setting good boundaries. You do not have to say yes to every party you go to. You do not have to say yes to that third or fourth glass of wine. You can say no to that. You can say no to your kids' demand for a new app or a new screen or a new expensive. You can say no to saying, I'm not going to go to this holiday party that stresses you out. You can say no. Like my wife, she's not going to cook Thanksgiving meal this one. And she said, you could cook. And you know what I said? I said, no, because I don't want to either. I don't know. I'm just not in the mood. Now we have in the past, we've done big blowouts, but we're not feeling that right now. So say no. What are some things you're going to say no to, or you want your wife to say no to? What else comes up for you?
Well, I don't know. I haven't really thought much about Christmas because all of our mind is to this trip I'm talking about over Thanksgiving. And so we've been saying yes to that trip. And I know I'm going to have to work. It can be hard for people who are like on shift work and have to work for holidays. I can't say no to that. But I might say no to a party or two, like you were mentioning, if I'm going to be too tired. If there's a lot of kids activities and it's driving me crazy, I might say no to that, depending on what they have on their schedule. But I want to make sure that we have time together. I'm definitely going to say no to the screens, like you mentioned. I'm going to try and be a stickler on that one. And I just want to make sure that I'm saying yes to the things that are going to be memorable for them. Like my goal right now is to not have each kid open up 10 gifts. Even though, so that's going to be something me and my wife are going to have to talk about. I want to make sure that it's like one or two.
But what if she doesn't? What if she wants to? She's like, what if she doesn't want that? What are you going to do? You're going to say yes?
We're going to
say no?
I can let you know. I mean, I'm going to say, my defense is I don't want toys or gifts that never get used. I've got stuff in my basement
you said that
never been opened.
You said that didn't stress you out an hour ago. But you said it frustrates you. I was just messing with you right now.
Frustrates you.
So does that? It frustrates you.
Yeah, it does. And you know what we did? We kept some of those toys.
Yeah.
And we're going to rewrap them and give them to for their birthday. Because they don't use them. I was like, here you go. Right? So it's just, we got to figure that out. I want to make sure we do something memorable.
You know what? For some of you, this is what you need to hear. You need to hear this holiday season. You need to put yourself on a budget. And you need to be wiser. And for some of you, that's not what you need to hear. You need to say, loosen up, chill out, right? Chill out. This is a special time. Be flexible with your kids. Be flexible with your partner. It's my wife has taught me so many things. She's my greatest teacher. And I would not be who I am. And we would not have the family we have unless it was for her. She has brought so much goodness into this family, including the holiday season, because she just comes with these ideas and she's always been pushing. I want to buy this. I want to buy that. And I was always the guy, the nonprofit youth worker, the ex-youth pastor, like, oh, but the money, Danielle, what about this? Is a fear. And she said, let's just do this. This is special. And so,
there's that constant balance, right? Of like
constant balance.
There's that constant balance of like, live every day like it's your last.
Yeah.
And don't do too much to where you're super stressed.
Yeah.
You have to find that balance.
That balance, yeah. That balance. And you've got to, and the thing about balance too is, what healthy balance is. We talk about this with a lot in our self-care episodes. Balance is not just about you. It's about, if you have a spouse, or a co-parent, it's about finding that balance together, working together.
Yeah.
And isn't that what the holidays are about? It's about family. It's about spirituality. It's about growing. It's about, for us that believe in the, Christians like myself and Jordan, it's about celebrating Jesus and the birth of Jesus and God and salvation,
reflecting,
forgiveness, reflection. It's about slowing down. And so, and about creating memories and about the most important things in the world, which is family, friends, memories, faith, gratitude, and just enjoying this season. Because Jordan, we're making a podcast episode as we wrap this up. I want you to know I'm thankful for this moment in time, because this moment in time is never going to happen again. And this Christmas of 2023 is going to come and go, and it's never going to repeat itself. My kids are never going to be this age again. So I am thankful for this age, and I'm thankful for my current struggles and my pain. And I am thankful for this moment, and I'm living in the moment because I'm never going to experience it again. And I'm going to look back on these times and I'm going to miss them, and I'm thankful for them. What are you thankful for?
That's good, man. I'm so excited now for the holidays. You got me jacked. Yeah, man. Let's watch some movies. Let's go do something fun.
Yeah, dude.
Let's see. What am I thankful for? Oh my gosh, I'm thankful for so much. And I'm so appreciative that we're able to help so many people in what could be a difficult time. I'm so excited and thankful for everyone who gets in the spirit, decorates, and enjoys that moment. Because you're right, we only have so many years left, right? Yeah. With the kids, maybe for ourselves, maybe with our loved one. So we have to appreciate what is coming up. And I'm thankful for my family who travels all across the country to see each other, and they all put in that same effort to make sure that we stay close.
I'm jealous of that. It's a beautiful family like that. I'm thankful for our listeners, that you trust Jordan and I to be in your life, to encourage you, to make you laugh, to give you tools. I'm so thankful for you, mom and dads, that are listening to this. And if you do want to see more of Jordan's and on family, you can follow us on Instagram, and where we share our personal stories, on our Instagram stories. And so see us there and say hi. And if you're listening to this podcast, then tell us on Instagram or on TikTok or on YouTube or on Facebook. I have over 500,000 followers on Facebook now. So please come and talk with me on those social medias. Tell us what you like. Give us some tips on or feedback on what you like about the podcast or what you'd like us to talk about more. And much love to you all. Thank you so much for joining us today. You are a good parent. Oh my gosh, family life and parenting is so hard. I hope today gave you some tools and some inspiration. And if you're joining this podcast, then please do me a favor. Leave us a positive review on your podcast provider. And if you're hearing this and you're struggling as a parent, your family is struggling, or you need parenting tools for that one challenging, struggling kid, well, I will see you in a live Zoom call inside my VIP membership, and I will give you the specific tools you need to solve every problem you have and to stay strong, be close, and teach wisdom.